Well, I went today and picked up some seed corn. And I decided this year I'm just going to try completely different. Never planted mycogen seed, so that's what I got this year. And what I got, of course it's going to be upside down. It's TMF 2Q419 and TMF 2L530. And these two are what I wouldn't say they're exactly silage, can't even say it, specific, but these are corns more suited for making silage. Like I say, they got corns designated for different things. They got corn that's purely made for grain, and usually grain corn has a higher stalk strength because it stands in the field longer. Once the plant dries down, stalks get brittle. They're more tendency to go down and lodge. So it's got better stalk strength. It's got a higher, it dries down faster. Silage corns, they don't dry down as fast. They say it's what they call stay green longer. And the fiber in the stalk is more digestible, and it's more suited for silage. And then they got what they call it a dual purpose. It could go either way. It's got good traits. You're kind of trading off one for the other. And they got another corn that's called BMR, brown mid-ribbed. And that one is basically mainly for silage, and it's bred specifically to have a higher digestibility to it. And that's a little bit more expensive corn, But I went with these two brands. Now, like I say, this one here is a 100-day corn. This one here is a 96-day corn. Actually, this one's 101 day relative maturity. And I went with this one here because the guy says this one in test plots has been showing digestibility levels equal to or as good as Pioneer's BMR corns. So this should be a good higher digestibility corn. And then I went with this one because it's a good silage corn, he said, and you don't want to throw all your eggs in one basket. So I like to plant, for the amount I plant, it doesn't make much sense to plant 3-4 different varieties. 2 is usually good enough. I have planted 3. This is just enough to get started. I mean, if I get this much in the ground, I'm going to be happy. But if the weather works out and I can get more ground worked up, I can always go buy more seed or whatever. But if I get this much in, I'll be happy. Now this one here is what they call a triple stacked. And that's the other reason, because I didn't want to buy all this, because it gets expensive too, because the more traits they got in it, the more it is. Like I say, this one's Liberty linked and Roundup ready. It's got the other traits for the, I can't even think of them now, but it's got several other traits to it. This one here is just straight Roundup ready. Now they're both treated with the same, this is it's a fungicide, insecticide, and then nematicide. It's Poncho 500, and I don't know what this other one is, Lumigen. But that helps, some of the smaller insects that eat the seed before it germinates, helps protect the seeds from that. And the other thing with this bag, it's what they call Refuge Advanced. When you get these triple stacks, because like the traits that are protected against the rootworm and ear rootworm, if all that corn is the same, some of them will survive and you could get a resistance to it. So what they do is they actually mix seed in, the same basic seed, might be a different variety a little bit, but it's the same family classification that doesn't have them traits in it, usually about 20%. And that way some of them bugs won't be killed because of it, and then they won't build up a resistance to it. The ones that do survive. So it's just a way to help protect against having these technologies. And like I say, this one's just plain Roundup Ready. What else was I going to say about this? Yeah, the one reason I went with this too is I was just going to stay with the Roundup Ready corns. But the one reason I went with this one, since the way he talked that this is a more digestible corn in the trials, the tests that they've done, you know, even though this is more money, say out of every ton of corn that I get out, or the silage I get out of this bag, if it produces 1 pound more milk, it would almost offset the cost difference between these two bags. Or being more digestible, if I get more nutrients out of this corn, it's that much less grain that I have to add to the feed for the cows, so I save money there. Or because it's more digestible, that the cows give more milk, just because of this, it'll more likely pay for itself. So you can pay a little bit more to maybe get more at the end. So that's why I went with this one. Now, like I said, I've had several neighbors. Well, one neighbor planted this, and I've heard a couple other people say that they planted it and have had good luck. They were happy with it, and they'd plant it again. So that's why another reason why I wanted to try this seed this year. And because the place I bought my seed from last year pissed me off, I went down there last year at this time and ordered seed corn, grass seed, that Sprint mix, sorghum Sudan grass. And a week later they called and told me they had it in. And so I wasn't in no rush to get down there. You know, the sooner I pick it up, the sooner they bill me for it, the sooner I got to start paying for it. So I don't want, I sit there for a little bit. Well, all the wet weather we had, I didn't get down there until the beginning of May, middle of May, and pick it up. And they didn't have my Sudan grass, and they didn't have that Sprint seed. They sold the stuff off the pallet. They had it there reserved for me. I ordered it, was reserved for me, and they sold it off. And to this day, I've asked them 3 different times, that day and twice over the summer, where the rest of that seed was, what happened to it. Well, we got to talk to this other guy. Well, they've never called me back. He's never there. I've never found out. So I didn't want to deal with them this year. And the local feed mill, I was going to ask them, well, it was last Tuesday here, I was over there too. I was going to ask them for price of seeds. Nobody seemed to have an idea. They don't even have any seed advertisement up. They didn't have no books on the counter with all the information on the seeds. They said, you got to talk to the manager. I was going to go talk to him, and he's talking to somebody else about goats or something. And I mean, it wasn't the guy was looking for something for goats. The manager has pet goats, and they were talking about their pet goats. So I walked out. And like I say, this guy, they gave me the price down here. Now, but they quoted me, well, the guy I needed to talk to, he was on the phone with somebody else, but the one other guy, he actually called the sales representative from the company and got recommendations, and they gave him prices. Now this bag here was $300. This bag here was $230. Well, after I come home, the guy I needed to talk to, he called me back, and we were talking. He gave me a little more information about them, and he said that they can do 10% off of that. So that got me down to $270 for this bag and $207 for this bag. So, like I said, they seemed to wanted to sell it. So today I figured I had to go back into town and, start getting a little bit good weather. People are going to start jumping on this, going to pick up their seed and stuff. So I'm going to get it on hand this year. I ain't going to worry about somebody out selling it out from underneath me. So that's where I went and got the seed and got it here now. So I'm ready. And it's still going to be, I won't be planting this until at least after the 20th of next month. I won't be planting any earlier than that, or even that early. You know, it's going to be more likely May 1st before I start even thinking about planting corn. But, you know, if I can get out there and get ground worked up and get it ready. So that's where I went here. The only thing I noticed here on this corn, though, not that I have it anymore, when I used to have a planter that used seed plates that they used to have information recommending which plates to use, and they don't on here. So, but it doesn't matter. I got a John Deere planter. It's got the finger pickups. You just dump the seed in to go. The fingers automatically adjust. But like I said, that I had an International 56 planter, and that's the problem. You know, all this seed. You can see the difference. If you really notice, if you look close enough, you can see these bags are two different sizes. I mean, this bag is a hell of a lot lighter than this one, because on the cob there's different size seeds, and they sort them out, you know, by seed sizes. And so then when you got them plates, you got to find the right size. Now, there's mainly two plates that were mostly used, and I just noticed this here. These are flats. These are F1, that's for a flat plate. And if you're looking at ear corn, the main body of the corn, this part through here, the kernels are flat. You get these kernels down here, they actually are round. And this one is an R1. So these are round plate, or round kernels. And these are usually the round ones are a little bit bigger seed. But the round, from what I understand, I haven't noticed much difference, but the rounds work better with them finger pickups. So, but that's the thing, I can just dump these in and go. It don't matter, the planter automatically adjusts for it, you know. And so like I say, being this is a bigger kernel too, I don't know, they say being a bigger kernel, heavier kernel's got more germination to it. Your bigger seed's better than your smaller seed. I don't know if that's true or not. But you know, they usually have weight on these bags. But I bet this bag's at least 10 pounds heavier than this bag. Because, I mean, this is a lot. See, this bag's a lot wider than that bag. So, I mean, there's a lot smaller seed in there. Like I say, not that makes any difference, but that's what I got. So we're gonna try mycogen. I like the seedway. I usually plant seedway seed. So, and that's another reason why I went with this one. The last time I had seedway, and it was in that hayfield down there where I had to sprint last year. That corn I had down there was this triple stack stuff, and it was the best corn I had probably in the last 3-4 years. But that was like third year corn. Usually you want these triple stacked because you usually have more rootworm problems in second and third year corn. Well, like I say, this year most of mine's going to be on sod ground. I'll be plowing hay ground under, and usually don't have rootworm problems then. So that's what I'm going with. So we'll catch up with you guys later.